Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of PEPTalk, Productive Environment Podcast. We are so excited to share with you today our amazing guest, Anna, who I'll introduce to you in just a second. If you're new to our channel, you're new to us, I am Andrea Anderson, CEO of Productive Environment Institute. I am here in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, and joined by...
I'm Barbara Hemphill, founder of Productive Environment Institute, and I am in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And we are thrilled to introduce you to our guest today, our special guest, Anna Melikian. And Anna, where are you joining us today?
Phoenix, Arizona, but originally from Portugal.
Phoenix, Arizona, but I was going to say that's not a Phoenix accent. Awesome. Well, we're thrilled to have you. And I want everybody to pay super close attention today, because as you can see, the title of today's podcast, Office and Digital Transformation. If you know us and you've been in our community, you know that is our main core function. The things we talk about most are office and digital transformation. And digital, we mean email, computer files, things like that. And Anna is going to teach. Anna, you coach people and you help people all the time. And one of the issues that comes up for any coach, I think, is that the coaching and the strategies and things like that are easily taught, or not, maybe not easily, but they're taught and people learn them, but then it doesn't last. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stay. So when we talked, it was like, okay, this is perfect. Teach our people how a framework to help their transformation stick. And so I think this works with any transformation. Let me take just a couple of seconds and I'm going to read Anna's official little short bio, and then I'm going to turn it over to Anna. So Anna Melikian, Ph.D., is a speaker, author, and host of the Mindset Zone, a top 1% podcast. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Anna supports leaders and organizations in increasing impact while avoiding burnout. Now, do y'all see why she's our guest here today? And Leaders Hum, am I pronouncing that correct?
Leaders Hum.
Leaders Hum. Okay. Selected Dr. Melikian for their Power List 2023 for her work on human potential and self-leadership. So congratulations on that. That is exciting. So I'm going to remove our beautiful cover photo and come on, and we're just going to have a conversation. So Anna, we'll turn it over to you.
And thank you so much, first of all, for being here. I really love what you are doing. That is so important, because digitally and physically, if we unclutter our world, I truly believe that we are uncluttering our mind and have more clarity. So it's a really important work that you are doing, and we need it more than ever. And you were speaking about the transformation stick. Like you said, I'm hosting a podcast for now 10 years, the Mindset Zone. And the name Mindset Zone implies that I believe in mindset work. Absolutely. Shifting the way that our beliefs that we have about ourselves, about the world, about others, and the lens that we use to see the world really is transformational, but not enough for lasting change. I like to say when I talk of this from the stage as a speaker, that if shifting our mindset, shifting our thoughts was just the only thing that need to be done, we could spend our days watching TED Talks and be totally transforming the other side. It would be easy, wonderful. We have that insight, that awareness, and but we know that the process of lasting change has more things attached to it.
Right.
The mindset shift can be essential and can be one of the starting points, and a very powerful one, but that has to reflect in the way that we feel and what we do. So in the mindset world, there is a lot of emphasis of the mindset work, of course. And I like to say, yes, we can transform our thoughts, that will transform our feelings and the results that we get. Absolutely true. And is not the only way to make things happen. I like to ask people to see, instead of a linear way to see them as three sides of a triangle. One side represents our thoughts, another side represents our feelings, another side represents our behaviors or our actions. The beautiful thing about the triangle, if we lose one of the sides, you cease to have a form. We need all these three dimensions to make things happen. And for some people like myself, that I call myself a neck up person, starting with our thoughts is my entry door. It's easier for me to become aware of my thoughts, but then I have to ask how this reflects in my feelings and in my actions. For other people out there that are more, they have the feelings more in the surface, usually the creative people, using the writers, they feel they are more aware about their feelings. So they can start there, but then ask how having these feelings is reflecting in my thoughts patterns and in my actions. And for others, they are more doers. So they start, the do first is easier for them. So wonderful. And how about that doing changes our feelings or reflecting our feelings and in our thoughts? They all interplay with each other, and we can really increase our self-awareness about this. And some of us, we really, yes, respect what is easier for us as a starting point, but also explore a little bit of the other dimensions, because sometimes for the neck up people like myself, when we are banging our head against the wall about something, one of the best strategies is just going for a walk. Leave the thing, go have a tea, go have a coffee, go for a walk in nature, ideally play with your pet. If you like dogs, if you have dogs or cats, whatever it is that take you from the mind space, and suddenly things start to click, and then you start to have an insight that really can help you. So always be open to explore these different dimensions.
Anna, I just want to interrupt here. I think this is so fascinating. And one of the things I wrote down was transformation does not equal lasting change.
Yeah,
Which is
the insight is not, we need more than insight to create the lasting change and the real transformation. Yeah, because
so I'm curious to know what got you into this, because obviously this is very powerful and you're obviously impacting thousands of people. I want to know your story about what got you into this.
In terms, my background is psychology. I start my career in I studied psychology in college. I did my master in psychology, my PhD in psychology, and I was working as a clinical psychologist. I was working with chronic pain, depression, anxiety. That were my expertise and specialty were at that level. And when you are be trained and then practice as a psychotherapist, all that we are doing is helping people change and helping people change, hopefully, and in a transformational way that sticks. So the problem of change is something that we study in psychology, and we know that is not, there are phases of the change. There are many theories about the change process, and is not, rarely is switching of a switch. There is a process. So we have to be aware of it, because otherwise people go, they try something, it doesn't work, and they give up. And the not working, the failures, it's just part of process of the lasting change. So articulating this is really important to help people in this process.
Interesting.
Awesome.
And that is one of the things when you are speaking about the framework that I use it in my book, and also I have it in several other places. I love to speak about this. When I was writing my Mindset Zone book, I was really, and speaking about these to groups of people, I was looking for a way if I could teach something that people can take home without having to have a cheat sheet that then they can never find after one day in a conference that we have so much information, what could I teach that will help them there and afterwards? That was the challenge that I was trying to meet. And what I realized looking to all the work in psychology, in personal development, in mindset work, in coaching, is that for any program really to be transformational, stick, even I presume the work you do, it really helps to create moments where people press the pause button. I presume when you work one-on-one or in the group format with your clients, you are creating that container that allow people to press the pause button. And in this world of accelerating change, we need this more than ever. So the first thing, I call it the PIE method, PIE, and the P represents the pause that is creating this container. And is what allow us to see the space that exists between a stimulus or the trigger, and instead of reacting, responding in a more intentional way.
Intentional.
Of course, we cannot be thinking about all the responses, everything that we do, but we can reflect afterward if we create moments of pauses. And even one of the first rewiring that we can do to our brain is think, oh, I react in that circumstance. There was that stimulus that led me to this response that was more reactive, and I will have preferred to have done something different. If you think that, okay, next time that stimulus happen, I can do this instead, you are starting the process of rewiring a different option of action in your mind. So, but we have to create the moments of pause. I even can do an exercise here for people. I love to do this exercise when I'm doing the speaking. That, and you can do the two of you here. Just pick a piece of paper and write the word reactive. If you can, all in caps, reactive. So you can write in a piece of paper the word reactive, REACTIVE.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
guys, those of you that are listening, if you're at a place that you can do this with us, Barbara and I are going to do it. So you guys do it with us. Okay, react.
Or afterwards, you can do this because it's really powerful to do physically if we can.
Okay.
Now I want you just look to the C between the A and the T of reactive. So you identified the letter C.
Okay.
So just move the C from there to the beginning of the word.
Yes, I love this.
Which word do you have now?
Creative.
Creative.
I love it.
Small shift, big impact.
Oh, wow. That is really powerful. I haven't seen that before. That is really powerful.
I didn't invent this. I learned this many years ago by another coach that she did this still in a telecall without video. And
Barbara, Jocelyn Sacchio that we interviewed a week or so ago, she's got it on her website. And it's so interesting because Anna, I met Jocelyn within a week met you, and you both have that. You both, the reactive to turn to creative. I was like, okay, this is a message. This is a message. I had never seen it before that.
Yeah. And it's powerful. Why in coaching we use these experiential things, these small things that, whoa, small shift, big change. I should pay attention. But then what we do with this? So, but even in this example, we are creating a moment of pause, the P, that allows to create an experience that creates a mindset shift about. Wonderful. We are more aware. Because why are we creating this container? Is to give us a little bit of space that allow us to see possibly you are familiar speaking about classics of the coaching world. Between a stimulus and response, there is a space. Right. That space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. But we have to be able to see that space. And honestly, the only way to see that space that allows us to choose our response and exercise our freedom and learning is by pressing the pause button, slow down things to see that space. Allow us to be more intentional afterwards. So if we have this container that we can create with pauses, and I always like to at least speak about 3 types of container pauses. We have the macro pauses, that is working with a coach, doing a workshop or VIP day or that kind of work of going to a conference. We are taking a considerable amount of time, a macro, to make a pause. Wonderful. It can be transformational, but for that transformation to stick, we have to do other type of pauses that I call the schedule pauses. Moments that we schedule in our day-to-day, in our week, in our month, in our quarter, that become like a ritual for us to do our journaling, meditate, whatever, work with a coach, but we have to schedule, clean up a little bit the clutter around us, whatever we need to do to create that. I call that the scheduling pauses. That think about like a mental gym time. If we want to be physically fit, we have time to do exercise or to go to health club. If we want to be mentally fit, we have to create these scheduled pauses that create the container that allow us to work in our mental fitness, because that allow us to be ready to the third type of pausings that I call micro pauses. That is when we are triggered to have the mental fitness to press the pause button. That is the challenge is there. But if we do our exercise with the schedule and the macro pauses, we are in better shape to, when we are triggered, to say, oh, wait a moment, I have an option here. I can choose here. And then is when the magic starts to happen. So this is the container. So if we create, let's focus on the macro and the schedule pauses. If we have this container, what we do with that space that we create by pausing and focus on our breathing and just being maybe writing in a journal, what we are doing is increasing, is the I, increase our self-awareness. So P of the pie is for pausing, create a container. The I is about increasing our self-awareness. And I like to invite people to use that space, whatever they are doing, what program they are following, to increase their self-awareness of their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions or behaviors. You see, I'm going back to the triangle. Create the self-awareness at least in these 3 dimensions. So we have the pause, the container. What we do with the pause, we increase our self-awareness. And then we can move to the E, that is embracing the experimentation mindset. And this is really a way of telling that we are reframing failure. Failure is just part of the process. And why I use the word experimentation, embracing the experimentation mindset, is because in science, when we are designing, when I was doing my PhD, when people are doing any type of research, we expect a certain result of our experiment, just what it is. Many times we get that expected result. Other times the data surprises with something that, oh, I was not expecting that. But in science is when the big breakthroughs happen, is when we are facing with something that we are not expecting, that we have to make sense of it. Then we have to bring other ways of seeing what happened, that, oh, now things make sense.
When you say that about experiment and unexpected results, what I think about is something we use probably every day is the Post-it note.
So tell me more.
Well, the story of the Post-it note was
yes.
that it was a glue that didn't work. It was a failure.
Yes.
And
Oh,
then it's like and so that's such a perfect example of something that didn't was a and I like the idea that failure is part of progress. I think
Mhm.
that's so often.
Yeah, because we have this, we tend to see it as a fork in the road. Like on one side, if we make a decision, it's a failure. The other side is success. And if we really look the reality of life, the road to success is paved with overcoming failures.
Mhm.
mhm.
It's just the reality of it. So we, but if we are aware that we are going to fall, that it's just part of the process, we don't feel so, oh my gosh, this doesn't work for me. Oh my gosh, another program that I did that didn't work. Oh, let me try. Where is the next shining object? And we are
Yeah.
in that loop, always trying something, not succeeding, going back to try something, not, and creates a sense of it wears us down in many, many ways. But if we see it as part of the process and ask, what can I learn from this experience?
Mhm.
Then that allows us to keep moving forward and make transformation that sticks.
I love that. John Maxwell's book is called Failing Forward. I mean, that's it. As long as we're moving forward, we don't give up. As long as we keep showing up and trying.
And my thing, the PI method, this framework is not, I'm not inventing anything new. All of these, we can find the roots and the origins in so many other systems. What I want is to create this way of delivering the message that
Mhm.
we can think. Pie. Who doesn't like a beautiful slice of pie? Then, okay, how can I pause? How can, even if it's just becoming aware of our breathing?
Mhm.
So important. And if somebody tells us, but I don't have time for it, you don't have time to breathe. Think about the irony of what you are saying. If you are alive, you have to breathe. And being conscious of our breathing can be one of the more powerful things we can do. And
Mm.
saying, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to breathe. It's almost like saying, I don't have time or space to live. Doesn't make
Mm.
So
sense.
true. One of the things I was thinking about earlier on, you mentioned having changes where you do dramatic things like going to a conference or doing something like that. And one of the things I learned years ago from one of my coaches is that when you go to a conference, it's really important that you schedule time off after the conference. And that
Mhm.
was one of the things that made such a difference, because otherwise you go to the conference and you collect all these notes and all these ideas, you jump on the plane, you go back and you're in the same routine, and you're going to fall back in the same rut that you were in a long time ago. Is probably a lot of people are too. I'm probably the oldest one that's ever seen this, but there used to be in America, there was a shaving cream company called Burma Shave.
Mhm.
And there used to be signs along the road, and they would space these signs. And so when you're driving down the road, you would see this. And I remember one saying, choose your rut carefully. You'll be in it for the next 40 miles. And I've never forgotten that, because it
Yeah.
is so easy to fall into a rut. And if you don't take a pause, then you're going to be in that rut
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
I didn't
because yeah,
Okay. I was just going to say I wasn't old enough to see those signs, but Barbara, I remember my mom telling me about them, and I've seen pictures of those signs, so I knew exactly what you were talking
and it's like, think about, and the road is a great metaphor also for another thing. For anybody that drives for a while, if we usually drive from point A to point B very often, we don't
about.
have to think about. We can be listening to
Yeah.
music, speaking with somebody. We just know from going to A to B, our subconscious can do the job and
Mhm.
be aware of all the things that we have to pay attention, and we arrive there. So think about our habits. It's just that way that our brain is designed to save energy. So all these shortcuts, all these habits and the narrow pathways, it's like, okay, to do going from A to B, I do this. I don't have to bring conscious too much in. and I can do the job and I save energy. Great. And serve us well most of the time until we don't want to go to the big destination. We want to go to a new destination. And we have to do a big effort, cognitive effort, to pay more conscious attention, to not go in the other way, but go in the new route.
Mm.
But if that is the destination that we want to go, we have to put the effort to make that change. And then after a while of repeating that over and over, then becomes easier again.
Mm.
But we have to put the intention. And because otherwise, when stress happens, when we get too busy, when we don't have time, what happens? We go back to the old ways because it's the road that, because it's so much travel, is better paved, so to speak. So it's easier to go back to that. And we have to keep paving the new routes, the new way that we want to be, in order to become our new normal.
Well, and you used a word that we use in Productive Environment Institute all the time, is about intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be intentional about it. And that's just such an important, we say that a productive environment is an intentional environment. And your environment is what you're talking about is being intentional in your brain so that you just don't automatically follow.
Absolutely.
I want to put this in some context and see if I'm right, and then I'll ask you a question as we start to wrap up. You guys, we're going to make sure you know how to get in touch with Anna as well. So about the pause. So I feel like with Productive Environment Institute, we have a macro pause coming up next week. We are doing an annual productive environment retreat. It's a retreat at the beach. So we're bringing in some of our team, some of our clients, our SOAR members are coming in for a macro pause. And I love having that name on it. So it is a pause. So we're going to work together. We're going to learn together. And then I think scheduled pauses in our SOAR program, and SOAR, SOAR, which stands for Systemize, Organize, Activate, so you can relate, right? In that program, I feel like we have scheduled pauses. Those are our times we get together for co-working to actually do the implementation of the organizing, the decluttering, decluttering your email, decluttering your paper, filing your paper. Those are scheduled pauses. So tell me what might be in that context, what might be a micro pause, like the individual client that's at home or at their office, and is that something that happens with them there?
And what usually starts to create the clutter, the old habits that they have, that one little bit at a time creates the clutter, and how they will catch themselves. Oh, I'm just going to put this paper in this pile. But if there is a better system to organize that paper, that they can, no, I'm going to put it over there in the file, because afterwards
it's a postponed decision. So basically, I mean, if you postpone the decision, but instead, if you took that micro pause to say, okay, what am I going to know next week or tomorrow that I don't know now?
I love it.
Make a huge difference.
So that's where we do the file, act, toss system. It's like taking that split second to say, do I need to file this for future reference, act on it, or can I toss it? That is a micro pause. I love that. We have new terminology for what we do.
And sometimes it's going to happen, they forget to do that micro pause, and they are going to the old habit, and it's okay. Okay, but becoming aware of it, then you can ask, okay, what was different in that circumstance that made me go back to this new habit that I want to develop?
And I think one of the things, we've been in another program recently that's talked about the power of celebrating. So that when we do something correctly, that we celebrate it even in, and I had to joke because I've been one of these, but I didn't do that. And it's like, okay, I have to figure out a way to celebrate that I like. What can that be? Well, I love music. So I came up with my way of celebrating, of saying, amen. That's my celebration. So when that happens and I manage to break that for just one, amen, and just stops it, it's really helped because I like the celebration, and the celebration reinforces the change.
And that's a micro pause, right? Would that be considered a micro pause?
That No, you are reinforcing
Okay.
the you are doing a reinforce of that new habit. That
Okay.
is really powerful.
I love it. That is great. Gosh, I want to have you back, Anna. This isn't enough time.
This is fun. I will be back.
I would love to have you back. So tell us, so we can tell the group how to find you. I know Ed's has your website, I think. So tell them what you would like them to do if anybody wants to learn more from you.
So the best place in terms of getting information and getting in my email list is mindset.zone. So instead of .com, it's .zone.
Love it.
And of course, then you will receive information about my podcast that you also can follow wherever you are listening to this podcast. Follow this one first and then go to and find Mindset Zone and follow Mindset Zone 2. And of course, in terms of social media, the place that you can interact with me will be LinkedIn. Anna Melikian in LinkedIn is the place that you can find and interact with me.
Okay, great. And we will put that information in the description of our YouTube channel. So guys, no matter where you're watching from today, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you are, make your way over to our YouTube channel. Ed's will put that link here. All of Anna's information will be in the description on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, please share this video, and subscribe to our channel so that you can see more videos and you'll know when we have Anna back. So that is awesome. Let me say what Jen said. Jen said, I'm getting close to choosing different food. The micro pause can be helpful when making a new choice rather than an old choice. Yes. Yes. I love that. Yeah. It applies to so many areas of our life. So let's definitely have a part 2 with you, Anna. So thank you so much for sharing with our group today. And also, one last thing. So of course, go to our YouTube channel, guys, but also you can check out our webinar, productiveenvironment.com/webinar. And you can sign up to learn about our boot camps, our office transformation boot camp and our digital transformation boot camp. So make sure you go check that out. So that ends our podcast today. Anna, I'm going to give you the last word. Actually, Barbara, do you have a word or you want me to give Anna the last word?
I just noticed that we'd gotten one comment from Laurel. Says, I love the concept of learning and pausing. I think a challenge is great. There it is. When you can do something full force and then stop and think and see what you did. I thought that's a great summary of what we talked about. So thank you, Laurel.
Yes. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you all for those of you that commented. We love to see your comments come through. I saw Deb was watching and Jen and Bernadette and Laurel. So thank you guys. All right. Well, this will be replayed on our YouTube channel. So again, make your way over to our YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe. And
you get the last word, Anna. What's your last
word?
Anna,
last word.
Be grateful. We are everybody has different life circumstances, but if you can be grateful for small things, medium things, big things, whatever it is, be grateful.
Perfect.
Yes.
And perfect timing for Thanksgiving. That is perfect. Thank you, Anna.